Perfect. Let's make the world's best cheat sheet on the Deoband School. Crisp, clear, and exam-focused. It will fit like a one-page note. Bullets, dates, keywords only, nothing extra, no point missing. I'll also add tips and tricks at the end for smart revision. The Deoband School, cheat sheet, 1 page. Origin and founders. Founded 1866, Deoband, Saharanpur, UP. Founders leaders, Muhammad Qasim Nanautavi, 1832 to 1880. Rashid Ayan Gangohi, 1828 to 1905. Institution, Darul Uloom Deoband, House of Knowledge. Hashid objectives, religious revival, revivalist movement. Teach pure Quran and Hadith, no mixing with new foreign ideas. Keep spirit of jihad alive, resistance to foreign rule, mainly British. Train religious leaders, imams, teachers, muftis for Muslim community. Reject English, Western education, focus on moral and religious regeneration. Features of education, curriculum, Quran, Hadith, Fiqh, Islamic law, Arabic tafsir commentary. Shut out English education's Western culture. Not job-oriented, no govt jobs, worldly careers, only religious preaching. Attracted students from all over India's neighbouring Muslim countries. Deoband versus Aligarh, key difference. Aligarh movement, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, Western education, cooperation with British, jobs, modern progress. Deoband, traditional Islamic education, oppose Sir Syed's approach, focused on religion, not jobs. Trick, Aligarhs, modern and English. Deoband, traditional and Arabic. Political role, welcomed Indian National Congress, 1885. 1888, issued fatwa against Sir Syed's groups, United Patriotic Association, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental Association. Critics, Deoband opposed Sir Syed more than British rule. Later development, Mahmud-ul Hasan, 1851 to 1920, gave political plus intellectual meaning to Deoband, mixed Islamic principles with Indian national aspirations. Jamiatul Ulema Hind, 1919, gave practical shape to Deoband ideas, protected religious, political rights of Muslims within Indian unity. Timeline, super crisp. 1857, revolt, loss of Muslim power, need for reform. 1866, Darul Uloom Deoband founded. 1885, Indian National Congress formed. 1888, Deoband fatwa versus Sir Syed's groups. 1919, Jamiat Ulema Hind formed. Key keywords, must remember for exam. Deoband, Darul Uloom, Nanautavi, Gangohi, Quran, Hadith, Fatwa, Revivalist, Anti-Western Education, Jihad, Mahmud-ul Hasan, Jamiatul Ulema, contrast with Aligarh. Tash, exam tips and tricks, use contrast in answers, always compare with Aligarh movement, gets you extra marks. Remember founders with trick, Naga, Nanautavi and Gangohi. Dates to fix, 1866, Foundation, 1885, 1888, Fatwa, 1919, Jamiat. One-line essence, Deoband equals revival of Islam through traditional education, opposed Sir Syed's Western approach, later entered politics via Mahmud-ul Hasan and Jamiat. This 1 page equals 100% revision tool before exams. Do you also want me to make a visual mind map like a flowchart version of this cheat sheet, easy to recall in seconds during revision? Perfect. Let's make the world's best cheat sheet for Sikh reform movements. This will be 1 page style, only the most important points, dates, keywords, and exam tips, tricks. Crisp enough to revise in 2-3 minutes before an exam. Hajj, Sikh reform movements 1 page cheat sheet. Background, 19th century, 1800s, new ideas, rationalism, progress, modern education. Sikhs faced, Christian missionaries, conversion attempts. Hindu revivalists merge Sikhs with Hindus. Corrupt Mahants in Gurdwaras, temple managers backed by British. Singh Sabha movement, 1873, Amritsar. Aim, twofold. 1. Spread Western-style modern education, science, English, rational ideas. 2. Defend Sikh identity, resist missionaries and revivalists. Actions, network of Khalsa schools, colleges across Punjab. Published Sikh literature, newspapers, history. Revived Sikh pride, distinct identity, education. Impact, strong Sikh intellectual and cultural awakening. Akali movement, 1920s, offshoot of Singh Sabha, goal, free Sikh Gurdwaras from corrupt Mahants. Methods, non-violent satyagraha, inspired by Gandhi. Non-cooperation with Mahants, British. 1921, Akalis launch major Gurdwara reform struggle. 1922 and 1925, Sikh Gurdwaras Act, Gurdwaras under community committees, SGPC today. Nature, regional sectarian Punjab Sikhs, but not communal, not anti-other religions. Contribution to freedom struggle. Akali leaders equals active in Indian national movement. Used non-violent protest techniques, parallel to Gandhian movement. Strengthened mass mobilization, unity, self-rule spirit. Key keywords. Singh Sabha 1873, Amritsar, modern education, defend Sikh identity. Khalsa schools, Sikh-run education institutions. Missionaries and revivalists, challenged by Singh Sabha. Akali movement, 1921-25, peaceful protests free Gurdwaras. Mahants, corrupt temple managers. Sikh Gurdwaras Act 1922, amended 1925, legal reform, SGPC. Not communal, aimed at reform, not religious fights. Linked to freedom struggle, Satyagraha, national role. Exam tips and tricks. 1873, Singh Sabha, 1921, Akali Satyagraha. 92-25, Gurdwaras Act. Mnemonic for aims of Singh Sabha E&D, education and defense of Sikh identity. Articles think, reform. Remember, not communal, regional reform, but national impact. Connect with Indian national movement, peaceful protest and Satyagraha. Number 3-line power summary. Singh Sabha, 1873, spread modern education plus defended Sikh identity. Akali, 1920s, freed Gurdwaras from corrupt Mahants via Satyagraha. Impact, Sikh pride, education, Gurdwara reform, and contribution to India's freedom struggle. With this, you can answer any 5 to 10 mark or even long answer in exams in under 2 minutes. Do you want me to also make a visual memory map diagram, like a flowchart of this cheat sheet so you can remember even faster? Parsi Reform Movement, 1-page exam cheat sheet. Key date, 1851, Ranumai Mazdayasanan Sabha, Religious Reform Association, founded in Bombay by English-educated Parsis. Objectives, twofold. 1. Social regeneration, improve condition of Parsi society. 2. Religious restoration, return Zoroastrianism to its pristine purity. Key leaders. Naroj Phadonji, Dadabhai Naoroji, later national leader, Indian National Congress, first Indian MP in Britain. Tools and propaganda. Newspaper, Rast Gofta, truth teller, spread reform ideas. Religious reforms, simplified rituals and practices, Parsi creed redefined, clarified beliefs to avoid superstitions. Social reforms focus on women, removal of purdah system, women free from seclusion. Raise marriage age, stop child marriage. Education for women, new schools, modern learning. Impact. Outcome, Parsis became the most westernized section of Indian society. Modern education, professions, English language adoption, women's status improved, active in education and society, set an example of reform for other Indian communities. Exam tips and tricks. Always start with 1851 plus Ranumai Mazdayasanan Sabha, date plus name equals guaranteed marks. Write 2 aims clearly, social regeneration plus religious purity. Mention 3 reforms for women, purdah removal, marriage age, education. Add Rast Gofta teller, shows extra knowledge. End with impact line. Parsis became most westernized community in India. Keywords to memorize. 1851. Ranumai Mazdayasanan Sabha, social regeneration, religious purity, Dadabhai Naoroji, Rast Gofta, purdah removal, marriage age, women's education, westernized Parsis. Memory trick. 1851 RRP. R equals regeneration, society. R equals restoration, religion. P equals Parsis westernized. This is your 30-second revision sheet. If you can recall the date, aims, leaders, 1 newspaper, 3 reforms and the outcome, you will write a full scoring answer in exams. Do you also want me to make a comic-style story version, 4 to 5 panels, so you can visualize the reforms quickly like a cartoon? Perfect. Here's the world's best 1-page cheat sheet for overview of reform movements. Crisp, to the point, all key facts, no detail missed. Overview movements, page cheat sheet. Positive contributions, restored confidence, educated Indians regained pride in culture, religion. Reassurance, greatness of ancient religions, rich cultural heritage highlighted. Intelligentsia, educated class, got new identity as leaders of change. Modernization, discarded obsolete rites practices, adjusted beliefs to rational and scientific thought. Secular and nationalist outlook, most important result, united people beyond religion. That have limitations, negatives, loyalty to British, some reformists worked for uplift within imperialism, preached loyalty to rulers. Western society idealized, often copied West blindly while fixing Indian problems. Class bias, reforms limited to upper and middle classes in towns, ignored villages and backward classes. Religious chauvinism, excessive pride in own religion, communal divides. Divide and rule, British rulers exploited communal splits to weaken national movement. Key keywords to remember: confidence, ancient religions, cultural heritage, intelligentsia, rationalism, scientific thought, secular outlook, nationalism, loyalty to British, Western ideal, upper middle classes, villages ignored, religious chauvinism, communal divide, divide and rule. Stack exam tips and tricks, structure answers, positives, negatives, conclusion. Always write secular nationalist outlook as most important impact. For negatives, remember LWCRD. L equals loyalty to British, W equals Western idealization, C equals class bias, only elite, R equals religious chauvinism, D equals divide and rule by British. If asked overall impact, say, created pride plus nationalism but limited by elitism and communalism. NAC 3-line power summary. Reform movements rebuilt confidence among Indians, modernized customs, and created a secular nationalist outlook. But they often stayed loyal to the British, copied the West, and ignored villages' backward classes. Overemphasis on religion, communalism, which the British used to divide and weaken unity. With this single sheet, you can revise the whole overview in under 2 minutes and write any 10 to 15 marker answer. Do you want me to now combine all reform movement cheat sheets, Arya Samaj, Brahmo, Parsi, Sikh, Deoband, etc., into one mega-page master chart so you can revise the entire reform chapter in one glance? Perfect. Let's make the world's best exam-ready cheat sheet for social reform movements in 19th and 20th century India. I'll keep it crisp with bullets, dates, keywords, phases, leaders and memory tricks, everything you need to quickly revise. Half cheat sheet, social reform movements in 19th and 20th century India. Background, causes, modern education, English, science, history, new thinking. Rationalism equals think logically. Humanitarianism equals care for human welfare. Science is fact-based, not superstition. Result, religious reform, social reform, both linked. Hash key reformers and organizations. Raja Rammohun Roy, 1772 to 1833, calls Morning Star. Fort Sati, banned in 1829. Promoted women's education. Founded Brahmo Samaj, 1828. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, 1820 to 1891. Widow remarriage, Act of 1856. Girls' education. Dayananda Saraswati, 1824 to 1883. Arya Samaj, 1875. Back to Vedas. Opposed caste by birth, supported education for all. M.G. Ranade and Prarthana Samaj, 1867. Simple worship, women uplift, education. Ramakrishna Mission, 1897. Swami Vivekananda, service to man, service to God. Schools, hospitals, relief work. Theosophical Society, 1875. Annie Besant in India. Spiritual revival plus social reform, education, e.g. Central Hindu College. Muslim reformers, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, 1870-1898, Aligarh movement, modern education. Deoband School, 1866, Islamic revival with modern touch. Parsis, Behramji Malabari, campaigned against child marriage. Sikhs, Singh Sabha movement, revival of Sikhism, education. Phases of reform, Siam Sath, 1. Phase 1, Rammohun 1880s, individual leaders, religious base. X, Rammohun Roy, Vidyasagar. 2. Phase 2, 1880s to 1900s, reform becomes national issue. X, Behramji Malabari, Indian National Social Conference. 3. Phase 3, early 20th C, reform hooks national pride, tradition, revival, linked to extremist leaders, e.g. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. 4. Phase 4, Gandhi era, 1915 onwards, social reforms, main plank of freedom struggle. X, removal of untouchability, Khadi, village uplift, women's role. Major achievements, outcomes, Sati abolished, 1829. Widow Remarriage Act, 1856. Abolition of Child Marriage, Age of Consent Act, 1891. Later SADA Act, 1929. Spread of modern schools, colleges for boys and girls. New social organizations, schools, hospitals, orphanages. Social reforms, nationalism joined hands. Memory tricks, rip-roar. Main reform groups: R equals Ramakrishna Mission, I equals Indian National Social Conf, P equals Prarthana Samaj, R equals Raja Ramahan Brahmo Samaj, A equals Arya Samaj, W equals Widow Remarriage, Women's Education. Himsath's 4 phases: INRG, I equals Individual Leaders, N's National Platform, R equals Revival to Extremists, G equals Gandhi's Leadership. Exam tips. Always link religious reform, social reform, they went together. Mention laws, leaders, years, gives weight in exams. Use phases, Himsath's model, for structured answer. End answer with Gandhi equals climax of reform. Number 30-second revision recap. Start: Ramahan Roy, 1828 Brahmo Samaj, Sati abolished 1829. Mid: Vidyasagar, 1856 Widow Remarriage, Arya Samaj, 1875, Prarthana Samaj, 1867. Late 1800s, National Social Conference, Behramji Malabari, child marriage. Early 1900s, Tilak, extremists, revival plus pride. Gandhi's era, untouchability, Khadi, village reform, women uplift. This is the crispest one-pager you can carry in your head or notebook before exams. Do you want me to now make a visual timeline chart, flowchart style, so you can literally see the movements and phases in one glance? Perfect. Let's make the world's best exam-ready cheat sheet for social reform movements in 19th and 20th century India. I'll keep it crisp with bullets, dates, keywords, phases, leaders and memory tricks, everything you need to quickly revise. Half cheat sheet, social reform movements in 19th and 20th century India. Background, causes, modern education, English, science, history, new thinking. Rationalism equals think logically. Humanitarianism equals care for human welfare. Science is fact-based, not superstition. Result: religious reform, social reform, both linked. Hash key reformers and organizations. Raja Ramahan Roy, 1772 to 1833, calls Morning Star. Fort Sati, banned in 1829. Promoted women's education. Founded Brahmo Samaj, 1828. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, 1820 to 1891. Widow Remarriage Act of 1856. Girls' education. Dayananda Saraswati, 1824 to 1883, Arya Samaj, 1875, back to Vedas. Opposed caste by birth, supported education for all. M.G. Ranade and Prarthana Samaj, 1867, simple worship, women uplift, education. Ramakrishna Mission, 1897, Swami Vivekananda, service to man, service to God, schools, hospitals, relief work. Theosophical Society, 1875, Annie Besant in India. Spiritual revival plus social reform, education, e.g. Central Hindu College. Muslim reformers, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, 1870-1898, Aligarh movement, modern education. Deoband School, 1866, Islamic revival with modern touch. Parsis, Behramji Malabari, campaigned against child marriage. Sikhs, Singh Sabha movement, revival of Sikhism, education. Phases of reform, see Himsath. 1. Phase 1, Ramahan 1880s, individual leaders, religious base. X, Ramahan Roy, Vidyasagar. 2. Phase 2, 1880s to 1900s, reform becomes national issue. X, Behramji Malabari, Indian National Social Conference. 3. Phase 3, early 20th C, reform looks national pride, tradition, revival. Linked to extremist leaders, e.g. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. 4. Phase 4, Gandhi era, 1915 onwards, social reforms, main plank of freedom struggle. X, removal of untouchability, Khadi, village uplift, women's role. Major achievements, outcomes, Sati abolished, 1829. Widow Remarriage Act, 1856. Abolition of Child Marriage, Age of Consent Act, 1891. Later SADA Act, 1929. Spread of modern schools, colleges for boys and girls. New social organizations, schools, hospitals, orphanages. Social reforms, nationalism joined hands. Memory tricks, rip-roar. Main reform groups, R equals Ramakrishna Mission, I equals Indian National Social Conf, P equals Prarthana Samaj, R equals Raja Ramahan Brahmo Samaj, A equals Arya Samaj, W equals Widow Remarriage, Women's Education. Himsath's 4 phases, INRG, I equals Individual Leaders, N's National Platform, R equals Revival to Extremists, G equals Gandhi's Leadership. Exam tips. Always link religious reform, social reform, they went together. Mention laws, leaders, years, gives weight in exams. Use phases, Humsarth's model, for structured answer. End answer with Gandhi equals climax of reform. Number 30-second revision recap. Start, Ramahan Roy, 1828 Brahmo Samaj, Sati abolished 1829. Mid, Vidyasagar, 1856 widow remarriage, Arya Samaj, 1875, Prarthana Samaj, 1867. Late 1800s, National Social Conference, Beramji Malabari, child marriage. Early 1900s, Tilak, extremists, revival plus pride. Gandhi's era, untouchability, Khadi, village reform, women uplift. This is the crispest one-pager you can carry in your head or notebook before exams. Do you want me to now make a visual timeline chart, flowchart style, so you can literally see the movements and phases in one glance? Perfect. Let's make the world's best one-page cheat sheet for you. Super crisp, exam-ready, all keywords, dates and tricks included. No extra fluff, but nothing important missed. Cheat sheet, Sati and infanticide reforms in India. Sati, widow burning, meaning forcing widow to bury alive with husband's body. Main reformer, Raja Ramahan Roy, called it evil and inhuman. Governor-General, Lord William Bentinck. Reason British acted. East India Company wanted to look good before Charter Act renewal debates, 1833 in British Parliament. Law, Regulation 15th, Dec 1829, banned Sati in Bengal Presidency. Declared Sati equals culpable homicide. 1830, extended to Nazis, slightly modified. Impact, mostly wiped out, but rare stray cases still occurred. Shag infanticide, killing of infant girls, meaning killing baby girls at after birth. Communities noted, some Bengalis, Rajputs, and some tribes. Reasons, daughters, economic burden, dowry, marriage cost, fear of social disgrace if marriage not arranged, wrong religious social beliefs. Methods, neglect feeding, poisoning during breastfeeding, drowning. Dalip Singh recalls seeing sisters thrown in river. Both British and Indian reformers condemned it. Law Regulation XY, 1795. And 1804, infanticide equals murder. 1870 Act, compulsory birth registration, checking on female children in high-risk areas. Impact, reduced over time but continued secretly in some areas, later tackled by education and social reform. A hack timeline, must memorize. 1795 Bengal Regulation XY equals infanticide illegal. 1804 Bengal Regulation 3's reinforced law. 1829 Dec. Regulation Thweth equals Sati banned, Bengal. 1830 Sati ban extended, Madras and Bombay. 1870 birth registration law to stop secret infanticide. Exam smart keywords. Ramahan Roy, frontal attack on Sati. Bentinck, 1829 Regulation the Thefn. Culpable homicide, term for treating Sati as murder. Infanticide Act 1870, compulsory registration of births. Reason, economic liability, social disgrace, dowry system. Method, neglect, poisoning, drowning. Impact, evil practices curbed by law plus reform. Tips and tricks to remember. Trick for dates, 17 to 18 and 19 rule. 1795, 1804 calls infanticide first banned. 1829 calls Sati banned. 1870 calls infanticide birth registration. Link names with actions. Ramahan Roy, raised voice. Bentinck, passed law. Exam answer flow, 3 steps. 1. Define practice plus why it existed. 2. Name reformers, law with dates. 3. Impact ended, reduced plus stray cases. With this page you can revise everything in 2 mins before exams. Do you want me to also make this into a visual memory map diagram, like a poster with arrows, boxes and dates, so you can recall even faster in exams? Perfect, you want a crisp one-page cheat sheet for exams. Short, full of dates plus names, laws, keywords, but no extra heavy text. I'll also add tint tricks at the end so you can revise fast and never miss a mark. Widow remarriage and prohibition of child marriage. Cheat sheet. Condition of women. Stopping only bad customs, Sati infanticide was not enough. Needed positive reforms. Widow remarriage, raise marriage age. Hash, widow remarriage movement, Brahmo Sama debated and spread idea. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, 1820-91. Principal, Sanskrit College, Calcutta. Used Sanskrit and Vedic texts, proved religion allows widow remarriage. Petition, 987 signatures. Gov. Result, Hindu Widows Remarriage Act 1856. Act 15, legalized widow remarriage. Children equals legitimate. Limited success in Bengal. Social resistance. Professor D.K. Carve, 1858 to 1962. Western India. Married a widow, 1893. Secretary, Widow Remarriage Association. Opened Widows' Home, Pune, 1899. Trained widows as teachers, nurses, doctors. Founded Indian Women's University, Bombay, 1916. Virasalingam Pantalu, Madras, major efforts for widow remarriage. Prohibition of child marriage. Native Marriage Act, Civil Marriage Act, 1872. Girls 14 and boys 18 forbidden. Not for Hindus, Muslims, limited effect. B.M. Malabari, Parsi reformer, crusade against child marriage. Result, Age of Consent Act, 1891. Girls below 12 cannot be married. Child Marriage Restraint Act, SADA Act, 1929-1930. Boys 18, girls 14 forbidden. Penal action for violators. Child Marriage Restraint Amendment Act, 1978. Girls 18, earlier 15. Boys 21, earlier 18. Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, 2006. Current law. Girls 18, boys 21. Child marriage equals illegal, punishable. Marriage can be annulled, protection for children. Dash key names and works. Vidyasagar, Widow Remarriage Act, 1856. Karvi, Widow's Home, 1899. Women's University, 1916. Virasalingam Pantalu, South India, Widow Remarriage. B.M. Malabari Age of Consent Act, 1891. Tips and tricks to remember. Vidyasagar equals widows. He fought for widow remarriage, 1856 Act. Karv cared for widows, 1899 Home, 1916 Women's University. Malabari equals marriage age, Age of Consent Act, 1891. SADA Stop Child Marriage, SADA Act, 1929-30. Law Timeline Easy Memory, 1856 Widow Remarriage Act. 1872 Civil Marriage Act. 1891 Age of Consent Act. 1929 SADA Act. 1978 Amendment, Girls 18, Boys 21. 2006 Prohibition of Child Marriage Act current. Exam hack, always write name plus year, act, effect in one line. X. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, 1856 Hindu Widows Remarriage Act, legalized remarriage plus children legitimate. Would you like me to also make a visual timeline chart with arrows from 1856, 2006, so you can glance and revise in 30 seconds? Perfect, let's make the world's best exam cheat sheet for education of women in 19th century India. I'll keep it one page crisp with keywords, dates, names, acts, results, plus memory tricks. Cheat sheet, education of women, 19th century India. Opposition to female education, false religious beliefs. Scriptures forbid girls learning. Fear of gods. People thought educated girls as husband dies. Widowhood. Social stigma. Family honor will go. Poverty. Families couldn't afford school, needed girls at home. Early marriage. Girls married young, no schooling. Key reformers and initiatives. Christian missionaries, 1819. Calcutta Female Juvenile Society, first effort for girls' education. J.D. Bethune, 1849. Founded Bethune's Girls' School, Calcutta. Role President, Council of Education, respected authority. Legacy, pioneer of institutional girls' education. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, linked with 35-plus girls' schools in Bengal, popularized female education, fought social religious opposition. Students of Elphinstone Institute, Bombay, founded Students' Literary and Scientific Society. Young leaders spread education campaigns. Charles Wood's Dispatch, 1854, Gov to Directive, female education important, boosted funding plus legitimacy. Broader movement, women's education equals part of larger social reform, uplift women, stop bad customs. Gave women literacy plus small jobs, teachers, nurses, economic independence, helped weaken superstition and patriarchy. Impact, more literacy among girls, new roles, teachers, midwives, nurses, confidence for women, social reform linked with education. But slow progress due to poverty, conservatism, rural neglect, early marriage. Timeline, must remember, 1819, Calcutta Female Juvenile Society, missionaries. 1849, Bethune's Girls' School, Calcutta. 1850s, Vidyasagar, 35 Bengal. Or Charles Wood's Dispatch, official stress on female education. Late 1800s, Bombay Student Societies push education. Mnemonic MBVVW, missionaries 1819, Bethune 1849. Vidyasagar 1850s, Wood 1854. Exam tips. Always answer with name plus year actions result. For opposition Q, religion fear plus social stigma plus poverty. For success Q, literacies jobs social reform link. Mention Bethune 1849 and Wood's Dispatch 1854 scoring keywords. Write at least one reformer each from Bengal, Bombay, Vidyasagar plus Elphinstone students. With this page, you can revise in 3 to 4 minutes before exam and recall all major points. Would you like me to also make this into a visual memory map, flowchart or diagram so you can recall even faster during exams? Perfect. Let's make the world's best cheat sheet on abolition of slavery in India. This will be one page, bullet style, dates, keywords only, covering everything you need for exams, no fluff, no miss. Cheat sheet, abolition of slavery in India. Nature of slavery in India. No chattel slavery, like Greece, Rome, or American plantations. More like bonded labor, bonded servants. Claimed to be humane, treated as family, but still loss of freedom. North India, domestic servants. South India, agricultural workers, cultivation. European plantation owners, cruel like Western slavery. Official view, Committee of Circuit, said Indian slaves are children of family and happier than free poor people. Reality, paternalistic, biased, ignored exploitation and loss of freedom. Key laws and events, 1833, Slavery Abolition Act, British Empire. 1833 Charter Act, told Gov. Gen to abolish slavery in India safely. 1843 Act, slavery illegal in India, all slaves emancipated, no compensation to owners. 1860 IPC, slave trade equals crime. 1976 Bonded Labor System, Abolition, Act, banned debt bondage, freed bonded workers. Mnemonic 33, 43, 60, 76. Why slavery bonded labor continued. Poverty and landlessness, poor forced into debt. High interest loans, debt cycle. Caste, social hierarchy, hereditary servitude. Illiteracy, no knowledge of rights. Weak enforcement, corrupt local neglect. Cheap labor demand, landlords benefit. Impact of abolition, formal slavery ended. Slave trade banned. Bonded labor outlawed, still exists illegally. Modern bonded labor, human trafficking. NGOs plus Gov today, rescue, rehabilitation, skills training. Exam pointers, always define slavery in India equals bonded labor type. Mention differences, India, American plantation slavery. Timeline with Axis scoring, 1833, 1843, 1860, 1976. Keywords, domestic servants, cultivation, bonded labor, emancipation, IPC, Charter Act, rehabilitation. One example, North equals domestic, South equals fields. Conclude, legal slavery ended, bonded labor still challenges India today. Tashag memory tricks. NSE equals North servants, South cultivation, Europeans, cruel. 33, 43, 60, 76 equals laws timeline. Link slavery with social reformers who later fought bonded labor, like Gandhi against indenture. With this, you can revise the entire topic in 3 to 4 minutes before exam and write a complete answer with structure. Would you like me to also prepare a comic-style memory map, like 3 simple pictures, North house servant, South farmer, British cruel master, so you can recall instantly during revision? Perfect. Here's the world's best one-page cheat reform in the 20th century. It's crisp, bullet-based, all dates, with no point missed, and I also added extra facts you should know for exams. Cheat sheet, social reform in 20th century India. Background. Reform in 19th century equals led mostly by upper caste men. In 20th century became wider, stronger, inclusive. Women plus lower castes joined. Focus areas equals women's rights, caste equality, untouchability, other evils, drinking, beggary, etc. Key organizations and leaders. 1887, Indian National Social Conference, M.G. Ranade, early reform, limited scope success. 1903, Bombay Social Reform Association, spread reform ideas in Bombay Presidency. Early 1900s, Annie Besant founded Hindu Association, Madras. March 1918, All India Depressed Classes Association for lower castes. 1926, First All India Women's Conference, AIWC, Women's Voice in Reform. Sept 1932, All India Anti-Untouchability League, later Harijan Sevak Sangh, Gandhi. Later, All India Depressed Classes Federation, lower caste demands for equality. Role of women. Movement not only male, upper caste anymore. Women took leadership, demanded equal status, education, political rights. AIWC, 1926, first major national women's organization. Role of lower castes, formed own associations, voice for self. 1918 association, later federation. Demanded dignity, access to temples, education, jobs, political representation. Gandhi's influence, dynamic leader, brought women plus lower castes into mainstream. Fought untouchability, started Harijan Sevak Sangh, 1932. Called lower castes Harijans, children of God, made social reform part of freedom struggle. Have focus issues. Women, education, equal rights, end child marriage, political participation. Depressed classes, abolition of untouchability, equality in society. Other issues, drinking, beggary, backward customs. Timeline, quick. 1887, Indian National Social Conference, RUND. 1903, Bombay Social Reform Association. C. 1900s, Annie Besant's Hindu Association. 1918, Depressed Classes Association. 1926, All India Women's Conference. 1932, Anti-Untouchability League Harijan Sevak Sangh. Mnemonic, RBADWH, Ranad Bombay Depressed Classes Women Harijan. Hack importance. Reform became inclusive, women plus lower castes active. Prepared ground for modern social justice movements. Blended with freedom struggle, reforms seen as part of nation building. Chash exam writing tips. Start with, in 20th century, reform widened beyond upper caste men to include women and lower castes. Always mention Gandhi's role. Use timeline with names, years, scoring. Example line AIWC 1926 gave women a national platform. Harijan Sevak Sangh 1930 touchability under Gandhi. Conclude. Thus reform became broader, more democratic and tied with India's freedom struggle. With this, you can revise in 3 minutes before you'll write a complete answer. Do you want me to also make a visual flowchart map, timeline with arrows, so you can see the sequence? Ranad, Bombay, Annie, depressed classes, women, Gandhi at a glance? Perfect. Let's build the world's best one-page cheat sheet for this passage. It will be crisp, exam-ready, simple words, dates, names, keywords, no fluff, but no important point will be missed. I'll also add a few extra facts that give you an edge in exams. Cheat sheet, Purdah, women and depressed classes, 20th century. Women and Purdah. Purdah equals system of hiding women behind curtain veil. Gandhi called Purdah paralysis of society. Quote, tear down the Purdah with one mighty effort. AIW All India Women's Conference 1926 denounced Purdah. Gandhi women, picket foreign shops, spin yarn, charkha. Women in civil disobedience 1930. Women came out of Purdah, joined protests. Large numbers arrested, first time in Indian history. Foreign observer, if CDM did nothing but emancipate women, it justified itself. Result, women became visible in public, politics and freedom struggle. TAF depressed classes, Dalits untouchables. 1930s, Muslim League said Dalits, not Hindus, deserved separate electorates. Dalits realized, political bargaining power, they could demand seats, rights. Congress and Hindu organizations wanted to keep Dalits in Hindu fold. LAP reform efforts. 1928 Indian National Social Conference resolution. Abolish caste system by 1. Interdining. Different castes eat together. 2. Intercaste marriages. Untouchability and disabilities, e.g. temple entry, water wells. 1932 Gandhi founded Harijan Sevak Sangh, Delhi HQ. Aim uplift Harijans, schools, temple entry, sanitation. Harijan equals children of God. Ambedkar's response. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, leader of depressed classes. Criticism, Gandhi's and Congress's moves equals half-hearted. Called Harijan Sevak Sangh a Congress wing. Wanted to keep Dalits as camp followers. 1945 book, What Congress and Gandhi Have Done to the Untouchables. Advised Dalits, leave Hinduism, embrace Buddhism. 1956, Ambedkar himself converted to Buddhism with millions, milestone in social justice. Key dates, 1926, AIWC, women denounce Purdah. 1930, civil disobedience, mass women participation. 1928, resolution for interdining, intercaste marriage, anti-untouchability. 1932, Harijan Sevak Sangh founded Gandhi. 1945, criticizing Gandhi, Congress. Converts to Buddhism. Mnemonic 26 women, 28 Resati CDM, Harijan Sang, 45 book, 56 conversion. Significance. Women broke barriers, joined politics, protests, public life. Dalits gained political identity and leaders. Ambedkar. Congress and Gandhi tried reforms. Ambedkar demanded real equality. Debate. Integration versus separate identity shaped modern caste politics. Exam tips. Always use Gandhi's quote on Purda equals high impact. Mention women's arrests in 1930, first large scale. Compare Gandhi and Ambedkar. Gandhi equals reform within Hinduism. Ambedkar equals break from Hinduism. Use timeline, shows clarity. Conclude, thus social reform in 20th century tackled women's seclusion and caste discrimination, though solutions differed, Gandhi versus Ambedkar. With this you can revise in 3-4 minutes and write a 10-10 exam answer. Do you also want me to prepare a memory map flowchart that links Purda, women's protests, Dalits bargaining, Gandhi's reforms, Ambedkar's critique, Buddhism, so you can recall the sequence in seconds?
Perfect. Let me make for you the world's best one-page cheat sheet for Rajaram Mohan Roy and Brahmo Samaj. It will be crisp, keyword-based, exam-ready, with dates, bullets, tricks, and examples. Nothing important will be missed. Cheat sheet. Rajaram Mohan Roy and Brahmo Samaj. Rajaram Mohan Roy, born 1772, Bengal, title Father of Indian Renaissance, languages Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, English, Bengali, Latin, Greek, modern traditional learning. Belief, blend Indian scriptures plus Western rationalism. Famous role, abolition of sati, 1829, with Lord William Bentinck. Brahmo Samaj, founded 1828 as Brahmo Sabha, renamed Brahmo Samaj, meaning Society of God, Brahma. Type, first major socio-religious reform movement in 19th C, India. Core principles, monotheism, belief in one God, Brahma. Monism, all reality is one. God in every human, reason, scriptures, twin pillars, logic, Vedas, Upanishads, universal religion, beyond caste, rituals, based on human values. No intermediaries, direct relation with God, not via priests. Opposed. Polytheism and rituals, sati, widow burning, polygamy, many wives, child marriage, female infanticide, superstitions, blind beliefs without reason. Ash supported widow remarriage, women's education, equality of men and women, modern Western-style education, science, liberalism, democracy, nationalism, humanitarianism, kindness, service, human dignity, education and ideas, promoted English Western science education for rational modern India, values, liberalism, freedom, rationalism, logic, democracy, nationalism. Significance, impact, first organized reform movement in modern India, cleansed Hinduism of ill practices, gave women rights and dignity, spread scientific spirit and rationalism, inspired later reformers, Debendranath Tagore, Keshab Chandra Sen, laid foundation for modern Indian nationalism and secularism. Timeline quickies. 1772, birth of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. 1828, Brahmo Sabha founded, later Brahmo Samaj. 1829, sati abolished with his support. 1833, death in Bristol, England. Memory tricks. One God, two pillars, three evils, four rights. One God equals monotheism. Two pillars equals reason, Upanishads, Vedas. Three evils opposed equals sati, polygamy, child marriage, also female infanticide. Four rights supported equals widow remarriage, women's education, equality. Modern education, raw equals reform of youth. Remember, Rajaram Mohan Roy wanted reform, modern education for New India. Exam keywords to drop. Father of Indian Renaissance, 1828, Brahmo Sabha, Brahmo Samaj, monotheism, monism, rationalism, against, sati, child marriage, polygamy, female infanticide, for women's rights, education, humanitarianism, blend Indian tradition plus Western liberalism, legacy, modern nationalism and secular thought. Super crisp summary line, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, 1772 to 1833, father of Indian Renaissance, founded Brahmo Samaj, 1828, Hinduism, promote monotheism, reason plus scriptures, women's rights, modern education, and to fight superstitions and social evils, laying foundation for modern, rational, secular India. Would you like me to now create a visual one-page diagram? Mind map like a flowchart with boxes and arrows, so you can revise the whole thing in 30 seconds before the exam. Perfect. Let's now create the world's best crisp one-page cheat sheet on Raja Ram Mohan Roy. I'll keep only dates, keywords, points, and exam crucial facts. No extra story. This will be like your final quick revision sheet. Raja Ram Mohan Roy cheat sheet, father of Indian Renaissance. Personal life, born 1772, Radhanagar, Hooghly, Bengal, father Ramakant Roy. Education, Patna and Banaras, died 27th of Sept 1833, Bristol, England. Title, Raja, given by Mughal Emperor Akbar II. Early works, 1803, Tufat-ul-Muwahhidin, Gift to Monotheists, One God, translated Vedas and Upanishads into Bengali. 1820, Precepts of Jesus, focused on Jesus' moral teachings. Reform groups, 1814, Atmiya Sabha, against idol worship, caste, rituals. 1828, Brahmo Sabha, later Brahmo Samaj, 1830, monotheism, reform. Social reforms, 1818-1829, anti-sati campaign, 1829, sati abolished by Lord William Bentinck due to Roy's efforts, due to widow oppression. Advocated women's rights, property inheritance, education. 1817, supported Hindu College with David Hare. 1825, founded Vedanta College, blend of Indian plus Western learning. Later, Hindu College equals Presidency College. 1855, Presidency Univ, 2010. Journalism, pioneer of Indian journalism. 1821, Samwad Kaumudi, Bengali Weekly. 1822, Miratul Akbar, Persian journal, published in Bengali, Hindi, English, Persian. International role, sent to England 1831-33 as Mughal envoy to King William IV, supported Naples Revolution, Spanish America's independence, opposed oppression of Irish people by English landlords. Political ideas, demanded Indian representation in British Parliament, supported freedom of press, fought against censorship, criticised zamindari system and heavy taxation. Legacy, father of Indian Renaissance, first modern Indian thinker and reformer, inspired later leaders, Keshab Chandra Sen, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Dayananda Saraswati, started modern socio-religious reform movement in India. Exam tips and tricks. Remember his 3 pillars: religious reform, social reform, educational reform, linking with Brahmo's and abolition of sati, 1829. Keywords to use: monotheism, Atmiya Sabha, 1814, Brahmo Sabha, 1828, Sati abolition, 1829, Hindu College, 1817, Vedanta College, 1825, father of Renaissance, death in England, Bristol, 1833, often asked in MCQs. First modern journalist, Samwad Kaumudi and Miratul Akbar. This is your fastest one-page memory map. Nothing important is missed. Would you like me to also make a super crisp timeline, year-wise events? That makes it even easier to revise in 30 seconds before exam. Perfect, let's build the world's best one-page cheat sheet on successive branches of Brahmo Samaj Nath Tagore's phase. Concise, bullets, dates, keywords only, exam smart revision page. Successive branches of Brahmo Samaj cheat sheet. Key leader, Maharishi Debendranath Tagore, 1717 to 1905, father of Rabindranath Tagore, Nobel laureate. Joined Brahmo Samaj in 1842, gave it new life. Known as Maharishi. Great sage, his contributions: two-front mission, reform Hinduism from within, purify it, remove idol worship, blind rituals, oppose Christian missionaries who attacked Hinduism and converted people, theistic movement, belief in one God, monotheism strengthened, made Brahmo Samaj more organized and systematic. Tattva Bodhini Sabha, 1839, and Patrika, 1843. Debendranath earlier led Tattva Bodhini Sabha, merged with Brahmo Samaj. Tattva Bodhini Patrika journal, spread, rational study of India's past, propagation of Raja Ram Mohan Roy's ideas. Followers associations, movement gained strength from Roy's followers. Derosians, young Bengal group, followers of Henry Derosio. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, famous reformer of widow remarriage and education. Ashwini Kumar Datta, educationist and nationalist. Exam crucial keywords. Debendranath Tagore equals father of Rabindranath, joined 1842, revived Samaj. Tattva Bodhini Sabha, 1839, Patrika, 1843, rational reformist journal. Fought Christian missionary attacks, promoted Indian philosophy, social reform, associated with Derosians, Vidyasagar, Ashwini Datta. Legacy of Debendranath's phase, Gave Brahmo Samaj intellectual depth, cultural pride. Balanced Eastern spirituality with Western rationality. Prepared ground for next leader Keshab Chandra Sen, who internationalized Brahmo Samaj. Exam tips and tricks. Think in 3 phases of Brahmo Samaj. 1. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, 1828, founder, Sati abolition, monotheism. 2. Debendranath Tagore, 1842, revival, Tatvabodhini Sabha, Hindu reform. 3. Keshab Chandra Sen, 1850s to 1870s, global vision Samaj. Roy Tagore Sen, founder, reviver, internationalizer. Dates to recall: 1828, 1842, 1839, Sabha, 843, Patrika. This is your one-page exam booster. Nothing missed. Do you want me to also make a year-wise timeline, 1828 to 1905, of Brahmo Samaj events, Roy Debendranath Keshab Chandra Sen, for super-fast memory recall before exams? Perfect. Let's build the world's best one-page cheat sheet on this. I'll keep it crisp, bullet style, dates plus keywords only, so you can revise in 2 to 3 minutes before exam. I'll also add a few smart tricks to remember things. Our cheat sheet. Successive branches for Brahmo Samaj. Key people. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, 17-1833, founder, 1828. Debendranath Tagore, 1870 to 1905, revived Samaj, made it strong. Keshab Chandra Sen, 1838 to 1884, popularized movement, later caused split. Others joined gradually. Dorosians, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Ashwini Kumar Datta. Sadharan leaders, Bipin Chandra Pal, Shivnath Shastri, Anand Mohan Bose, Surendranath Banerjee. Timeline of events: 1828, Raja Ram Mohan Roy founded Brahmo Samaj. 1842, Debendranath Tagore joins, shapes theistic movement. 1858, Keshab Chandra Sen joins, made Acharya soon. 1865, Keshab dismissed as Acharya, radical ideas not accepted. 1866, Keshab forms Brahmo Samaj of India. 1866, Debendranath's group called the original Brahmo Samaj. 1872, Brahmo Marriage Act passed. Keshab Samaj instrumental. 1878, Keshab arranges Cooch Behar child marriage split. 1878, formation of Sadharan Brahmo Samaj, democratic. Important contributions: Debendranath, Tatvabodhini Sabha, Patrika, study India's past, spread Roy's ideas. Keshab, spread Samaj beyond Bengal, UP, Punjab, Bombay, Madras. Keshab Indian Reform Association. Indian Mirror, 1861, edited by Keshab, became Brahmo mouthpiece. Brahmo Marriage Act, 1872, legal recognition to Brahmo marriages. Key splits: 1. 1866, Adi Brahmo Samaj, Debendranath, original, conservative. Brahmo Samaj of India, Keshab, liberal, radical. 2. 1878, Sadharan Brahmo Samaj from Keshab's followers, democratic. Causes of splits: ideological differences. Keshab opposed caste systems strongly, supported intercaste marriages, wanted inclusion of all religious teachings. 1878 child marriage scandal. Keshab married his 13-year-old daughter to minor Maharaj of Cooch Behar with orthodox rituals. Opposite to Brahmo ideals, revolt, accused of authoritarianism. Exam smart tricks. Dates: 1858 joins, 1865 dismissed, 1866 split, 1872 Marriage Act, 1878 child marriage and Sadharan. Trick: 5 to 6677, easy number chain. Splits memory hack. Adi, old. India, Keshab. Sadharan common people, AIS order. Think of a tree. Root equals Roy, trunk equals Debendranath Adi, branch equals Keshab, India. New shoots equals Sadharan leaders. Revision tip: just recall Roy founder, Debendranath Adi, Keshab, India, split Sadharan. Dates: 1858, 1865, 1866, 1872, 1888. Do you want me to also make a visual flowchart style diagram, tree form, of these branches with names and years so that you can remember it at a glance? Perfect. I'll now create the world's best one-page cheat sheet for Sadharana Brahmo Samaj, plus evaluation of Brahmo Samaj, crisp bullets, keywords, dates, and exam ready. I'll add any important points that help you revise quickly. A cheat sheet, Sadharana Brahmo Samaj and Brahmo Samaj evaluation. Origin and constitution: founded 1878, split from Brahmo Samaj of India. Key leader: Anand Mohan Bose, drafted constitution. Principle: democratic, equal rights to all members in management. Political role: by late 19th C, political consciousness sprouted. Key members and nationalists: Shivnath Shastri, reformer writer. Anand Mohan Bose, leader, constitution framer. Bipin Chandra Pal, extremist nationalist. Lalbal Pal trio. Dwarkanath Ganguly, women's education reformer. Surendranath Banerjee, early Congress leader, father of Indian nationalism. Contribution: spread nationalist spirit in Bengal and India. Social reforms, primary work, female education, schools for girls, women teachers, famine relief funds, help during droughts, orphanages, care for parentless children, schools for deaf and mute, special education, charitable institutions, widow support, hospitals, poor relief. Journals and publications, Awakening People, Tatva Kaumudi, Brahmo Public Opinion, Indian Messenger, Sanjibani, Nabiyabharat, New India, Modern Review, Prabhasi, Expatriate. Purpose: educate masses, spread reform ideas, boost nationalism, enrich Bengali language and literature. Evaluation of Brahmo Samaj, critical approach, question harmful customs, promote reason. Aim: new society without caste, creed, gender discrimination. Women, incessant efforts for regeneration of Indian women, education, rights, dignity. Legacy: first major modern reform movement in India, sparked other movements in religion, society and politics, inspired leaders of Indian National Congress. Ram Mohan Roy's role, founder of Brahmo Samaj 1828, opposed sati, promoted rational religion, wanted religion's reason, equality, created awareness, Brahmo movement, starting point of modern Indian reform. Keywords for quick recall: 1878, Sadharana Brahmo Samaj. Anand Mohan Bose, Constitution, Democracy. Nationalist leaders: Sastry, Pal, Ganguly, Banerjee. Reforms: girls' education, famine relief, orphanages, deaf schools. Journals: Tatva Kaumudi, Sanjibani, Modern Review. Critical approach: no caste, creed, gender bias. Women uplift, regeneration. Ram Mohan Roy, anti-sati, father of reform. Exam tips and tricks: mnemonic for journals. The brave Indian sang new modern poems. Tatva Kaumudi, Brahmo Public Opinion, Indian Messenger. Sanjibani, Nabiyabharat, Modern Review, Prabhasi. Link with nationalism. Remember, many members became Congress leaders. Always mention women's uplift, key contribution, education, widows, orphans. One-liner for conclusion: Brahmo Samaj lit the torch of modern Indian reform, socially, religiously, and politically. Now you have a crisp one-page revision sheet, covers all names, dates, reform, journals, evaluation, and exam tricks. Would you like me to also make a Q&A flashcard set from this cheat sheet so you can quiz yourself quickly before exams? Absolutely. Here's the world best one-page cheat sheet for Young Bengal Movement. I've kept it super crisp, all keywords, dates, points, and exam tricks so you can revise in 1 minute. Young Bengal Movement one-page cheat sheet. How 1. Key person: Henry Louis Vivian de Rosio, 1809 to 1831. Teacher at Hindu College, Calcutta, 1826. Taught English literature and history. Edited Hesperus and Calcutta Literary Gazette. Nationalist poet. To India, my native land. Died young at 22, but left great impact. 2. Who were Young Bengal? Students of Hindu College influenced by de Rosio, called de Rosians, focused on free thought, social reform, questioning old customs. Motto: truth, virtue, bravery, rational thinking. 3. Ideals and teachings: live and die for truth, cultivate virtues, shun vices, honesty, courage, kindness, free discussion on social, moral, religious issues, encouraged national pride and modern education. 4. Activities and reforms: carried forward Raja Rammohan Roy's social reform ideas, educated people via newspapers, pamphlets, public associations, public agitations, revision of East India Company's charter, freedom of press, better treatment of Indian labour abroad, trial by jury, fair courts, against oppressive zamindars, Indian participation in government jobs. 5. Social impact: spread ideas of modernity, freedom, rational thinking, some misunderstood, drinking seen as symbol of emancipation, inspired other social reformers and nationalist leaders. 6. Keywords for quick memory: de Rosio, Hindu Corrosians, free thought, rationalism, virtue, truth. Hesperus, Calcutta Literary Gazette. To India, my native land, press freedom, trial by jury, zamindars, Indian jobs. 7. Dates to remember: 1809, de Rosio born, 1826. Joined Hindu College, 1831. De Rosio died, 1826 to 1831. Active period of Young Bengal Movement. 8. Exam tricks and tips. Remember, de Rosio calls Young Bengal plus Hindu College plus poet. Think Derozio, free thought, social and political reform, linked to Raja Ramohan Roy, continuation of social reform, trap to avoid, Young Bengal, only about alcohol drinking. That was a misunderstanding by some followers. Super quick revision formula. Derozio, Hindu college, free thought, social plus political reform, nationalist poet. Derosians continue Raja Ramohan's work, fight injustice, some misinterpreted ideas. If you want, I can also make a super visual version of this cheat sheet with mind maps and flowcharts, so it will be easier to memorize in 30 seconds. Do you want me to make that visual version next?